assess yourself in terms of where you are in your career and where you would want to head to. We need to be quick, and efficient to capture those opportunities. We're part of this journey, we're part of the success, and the sky's the limit.
Welcome to NextGen, your exclusive look into the future through UAE's industry leaders.
Today's guest is Shamsa Al Falasi, the first Emirati woman to be appointed CEO of Citibank onshore UAE. We sat with Ms. Al Falasi to discuss her personal journey, from growing up in Dubai to joining Citibank 2 decades ago and traveling the world.
Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
So you've broken through the ranks to achieve C-suite in Dubai. Has it been easier or harder as an Emirati?
It's been a fantastic journey, to be honest, overall, because it's been 20 years of a lot of learning. I wouldn't say it's been harder for being Emirati, but it was definitely challenging for taking on a role within the banking sector.
When you were appointed, I saw so much applause coming from the community here,
yes.
A lot of media attention. What's it been like?
Which I was completely grateful for. I was the first Emirati female appointed as the CEO for the onshore business. So this is something that we've never seen before. We did have a lot of female seniors taking the lead within Citi, including Jane Fraser, who's the global CEO, as well as a few key female seniors within the UAE as well, including 𝐬𝐵𝐸, who's looking at Middle East and Africa, and recently Maria Ivanova looking at the overall UAE. Having said that, we never really had an Emirati female CEO, which was fantastic and very well welcomed because the generations were super excited about it. It kind of made the impossible possible, which was really great.
And now others have other women to look up to.
Absolutely.
But you and your own journey, from what I've read, you were always looking to see what you still need to learn,
yes.
right? What skills you were lacking. You were very strategic to understand what is required for the next step.
That's right. So since I joined the bank, which was close to 20 years ago, I've always looked up to the seniors that we have within the banking sector. At the time, there were a lot of, not so many females within the banking sector in the UAE as a whole, as well as within the bank itself within Citi. So I started evaluating for the few key positions that we had. Many of them were amazing, very inspiring. So I was, looking up to them, trying to understand what did they do so well that I could take on. So ultimately, what I've realized is evaluating my skills every 6 months and usually holding myself accountable took me a very long way.
What kind of advice would you give others in the banking sector and generally for young Emiratis? Is this something you should be assessing every 6 months? What skills, learning? What's your philosophy around that?
It's always an exciting journey because there is a lot of learnings, but at the same time, we underestimate the fact that you do need to pause and realize, actually assess yourself in terms of where you are in your career and where you would want to head to. So sometimes taking that moment to really think about whether I have the right skills or not, what do I need to do to go to the next steps is extremely important. And I think a key element is also to seek feedback. So we're very encouraged within the organization to receive feedback on a regular basis, whether formally through the process or ultimately by reaching out to colleagues and just seeking feedback in terms of what could I do better? What else should I be focusing on?
What would you say ignited your passion into banking? I mean, did your family background have anything to do with it? Because when you entered, this was a primarily male-dominated field.
So during my college years at the time, I was lucky to actually have a bit of a time spent, rotating within some specific areas where they provided internships, summer training, and all of that. And I've used that time to actually explore whether it's a field that I would like to be in. So I was very lucky to spend some time within some specific local banks, as well as with Citibank, because previously they had an internship program whereby you could take part as well as learn about the bank, learn about the products and what they do.
And family often plays an instrumental role in whatever career path you take.
So I'm the youngest in a very big family. So
how big?
So we're 7 siblings.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of them is very successful in their fields. So I have some in media, some in the police, looking at forensic science, other is in telecom. A couple of my sisters were in the banking sector, and now they've decided to move to teaching. So it's very diverse, and everybody is learning from each other.
So growing up and seeing this rapid growth and the ambition that's really driven by the leadership, how much did that affect you and your own personal career goals and ambitions?
It was very exciting because when you reflect back, initially you would think about it that, you know, I'm from the UAE, it's a nation of 50 years. Probably, you know, there wasn't a lot of possibilities at the time. You know, we've seen a major shift taking place. So now everything is going on around us. We're part of this journey. We're part of the success. And, you know, the sky's the limit.
You started as a graduate in 2004. So you've been a banker all your professional life.
That's right.
But you had international experiences
Yes.
in cities like Sao Paulo, Dublin, London. How did these experiences and living among other cultures shape your leadership?
Maybe let me tell you the story of how I ended up going into an international assignment. At some point within my career, I would say 6 years within my journey, I've realized I wasn't learning enough, and I wanted to really understand what's happening in other markets. So I decided to put my hand up for a mobility program that they had. It was a shorter one at the time, 4 months in Brazil. I didn't realize where they were taking me. So, and then later on, when I signed up for the program, it was domestic or international, and I signed up for international. My focus, given that it was a short time, is to understand what best practices do they have over there. Obviously, we've been there for many years, and you know they've done things differently. They had their experiences. So I've really focused on what I could bring in as best practices to the bank in the UAE. And then later on, in terms of moving to London and Dublin, where similar focus as well.
Longer terms, I assume.
Longer terms, as well as, so overall it was over 2 years, with the rest spending time in Europe. But apart from this, the focus was to, you know, brush up my skills as well as bring in best practices.
You must have been in your 20s when you moved to Brazil.
Yes.
All crossing the globe.
Yes.
In your 20s, a young female Emirati. At the time, I'm sure many people didn't know as much about the UAE, if at all.
Yes.
Was that a hard decision to make? And
Not at all, actually. I remember my manager at the time told me, "Oh, you're going to Brazil." So I was like, "Okay, sure." And he was actually reluctant because he said, "You know, don't you need to run it by your parents?" I was like, "Don't worry, I'll take care of them." I think the main area was for them to ensure that I have, you know, the required safety, security arrangements, all of that needed.
Sorry, were you the first one in your family to travel overseas for a long period of time?
Not really, because I do have a couple of, you know, my brothers and sisters as well who lived abroad for a very long time. But going to a place as exotic as Brazil, yes, I was the first one.
You've been quite an advocate for women. You've participated in a lot of Emirati Women's Day panels. You're someone that a lot of people look up to. Yes, there's been a lot of progress, definitely since you joined the world of banking, and we see it, you know, across sectors. But what still needs to be done to see true equality?
So overall in the UAE, there has been a lot of focus in terms of diversity, inclusion, as well as equality. One, because the leadership has always been a big supporter of having a diverse society. One of the main things that we grew up with, his late 𝐬𝐮𝐬𝐫𝐠𝐞𝐿 Nahyan really highlighted many times that women are half of the society, and
which they are,
continue to be critical stone as well, a cornerstone of the society. So we've seen that as well integrated in the way we, you know, carry ourselves, the way we do business, the way the leadership continues to reiterate in terms of the diversity angle. Apart from this, in terms of what needs to be done more, there are many people who hold important positions now in the country. what they could do to help develop the next generation is to be available to support them. As a simple example, there are a lot of programs to support young females as well as young males in terms of embarking on their careers. One of the areas that I decided to focus on is to take on coaching. So I used to be a mentor within the banking, not the banking sector per se, but within Citi, where I had the opportunity to work with a lot of young females within the banking sector across the globe and helping them out throughout their journey.
Are you still doing that?
Yes, I am. And I really very much enjoy it. And it gives me a lot of satisfaction when I see people actually reaching areas that they would want to be in.
The financial landscape is constantly evolving.
That's right.
What kind of insights of yours can you share about how the banking industry is transforming and what trends are we currently seeing?
The banking sector, which a lot of people don't really evaluate and measure, is a very much of an evolving industry. Mm-hmm. There are multiple areas that we play a very big role in terms of defining as well as helping grow. So we've seen many of our customers and clients as well moved into the digital platforms, for example.
So these are terms we hear a lot.
Yes.
Digital transformation,
That's
cashless
right.
society.
Yes.
Can you shed some light on what this really means in practice?
So the UAE as a whole has been putting a lot of effort actually to drive in a cashless society, where we will have a lot of focus on moving to digital platforms as well as focusing on the currency perspective as well, which would help in terms of ease of doing business. It would provide transparency, and it would support customers and end users as well, having better and a bigger outreach in terms of the end clients that they would want to go to.
What would you say are the main factors that make Dubai and the UAE so easy to do business in? And this is something that I hear from every business person that I've interviewed, non-Emirati. Everyone says the ease of doing business
Yes.
here is like no other place in the world. What are those factors?
So the number one factor is the connectivity. Obviously, you have Jebel Ali port, which is one of the busiest ports in the region. You have a national airline that actually goes to more than 200 destinations and connect the world. A couple of other measures that we have in place is the double taxation treaty. The other element is the free zones. There are more than 40 free zones in the UAE itself, more than 20 in Dubai specifically. They've facilitated doing business. They've supported companies' growth, not only within the UAE, but also to be more of a global and a regional hub to focus on the business growth outside of Dubai into the globe.
Okay, so if we're looking ahead, what kind of legacy do you see Citibank leaving under your leadership?
We will be celebrating our 60th year anniversary, and I'm super pleased that I'll be witnessing this. The one thing that makes me really excited about the future is the fact that, first of all, there are additional opportunities coming our way from the country perspective, everything that the city has signed up to. For example, D33 with all the focus areas that we are taking part in some of the initiatives, and as well as the fact that now we have a lot of focuses in terms of talent, in terms of bringing in additional product, in terms of supporting on the emerging themes that are coming our way. So it would be exciting for us to see where we are heading with all the changes around us and being part of it. And apart from this, opening the doors for the newer generations to actually be prepared to take on the lead as well.
Well, we look forward to following your personal journey. Shamsa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for your time.